See? It's a win for you. All right, let's go into this Johnny Somali thing because we're not going to go through all 22 minutes of this video, but this More Pegasus guy, I like him. You know, he's one of these guys who all he does all day is just follow YouTube drama, you know? And you need those guys because the YouTube drama stuff means nothing. It's all a soap opera. It's all just sugar. None of it's nutritional at all. And that's good because you don't get too invested. You don't turn into one of these weird goblin people online. And you just watch this shit like women watch Days of Our Lives, right? So Johnny Somali, this More Pegasus video broke down all of his charges and the punishments it carries. And I was amazed, because I've followed this thing like remarkably surface level, right? Because I just hate this little cunt. And I just love that he's getting humbled and it's breaking his brain. But at the same time, I didn't realize how hardcore South Korea's justice system is. I want it. I want to steal South Korea's whole like penal code. Stop it. And I want to transplant it to America. It's so good. Like this guy fucked with a convenience store and he might get 5 years for that alone. Like he's facing a shitload of time. Let's go ahead and check this out. This is from More Pegasus. Also, if you want like facts on the actual Johnny Somali stuff and you want to catch up and you just want, you know, straight up autistic factual reporting, Legal Mindset does a really good job with that. It's just Legal Mindset on YouTube. Go watch his Johnny Somali stuff. He's doing incredibly well with it. And he breaks everything. He's kind of like Forrest Gump's mom. You know, like you and I are retarded. Legal Mindset has a way of explaining things so we can understand them. Let's go ahead and watch this More Pegasus video on, I almost said Destiny. Where the fuck is my head today? On Johnny Somali. I don't believe Destiny is going to jail in South Korea.
Facing 36 years in Korean prison for all of his crimes so far.
And by the way, the 36 years, just being a cunt.
He has already pled guilty to several crimes and is now completely broke. He's been constantly having meltdowns on stream in between his trials, and he's basically just slowly dreading the day his life is finally over and he's behind bars.
Yeah, so you know how like they tell you when you get in this kind of trouble, like don't discuss your legal strategy, don't discuss your case, don't discuss anything. Like you can speak in vague terms, but this guy just flies off the handle, loses his fucking mind. Shits on everybody, the entire country, the entire legal system. I'm pretty sure this guy has gone on his stream talking about his crimes and then committed more crimes while talking about his crimes. The guy's and doing himself no favors in their court because I know we like to think that justice is blind, but like it's run by humans and humans have egos. And when those egos get bruised, you become resentful of the people who did it. And this guy has been an absolute jackass to everybody involved in the South Korean system. He's also a foreigner. I don't know how South Koreans are towards black people, but if they're anything like the Japanese, you know, nish. And, you know, some fucking weird, cocky black kid coming in being a dickbag to everybody. I'm sure, you know, they want to make an example out of him. Be fun to, like, put a camera in whatever work camp he's going to and watch him break rocks with other rocks.
This is kind of what happens when you think you're invincible and you F around and you find out. So we're just going to go over each of these 7 charges that he is faced with and take a look at his reaction to the situation as well. Big shout out to Legal Mindset for this information. So here are the 7 charges of Johnny Somali so far. Starting with the first one here, obstruction of business, count 1.
Yeah, okay, again, obstruction of business. Disrupting a 7-Eleven. So he's eating ramen. That's the video where he's eating ramen and he's shitting on the convenience store workers. So literally, he just went into a convenience store and he started fucking with people. That's a 5-year fucking crime in South Korea. How awesome is that? I want that here. You give shit to like a server. You give shit to a service worker and, you know, you don't pay a hooker, say, and you get 5 years in jail. That's awesome. Do you know how quickly, like a lot of people wonder, they're like, why do these other countries, especially Asian countries, and people may not like to hear this, you know, everybody wants a better life, but when you tell them how to get it, they balk because we're American and we're assholes. But like, They go, why are they so much more polite in South Korea? Because if you fuck around with a gas station attendant, they give you 5 years in jail. They're kept in check. You know, oh, Singapore, why is it so nice in Singapore? Because they'll cane the shit out of you for graffitiing a wall. Wouldn't that be great? Some assholes tagging some building and you just beat the shit out of them. That guy will behave next time. You know, this is a very point A to point B kind of a thing. You start throwing motherfuckers in prison for disrupting 7-Elevens, you're going to see these riots and these flash mobs go down pretty quick. Death penalty for people going into malls and starting fights. We're going to see a lot less mall fights or a lot less executions. Take your pick.
Of 5 years, and this was for disrupting the 7-Eleven with the ramen stream and the threats to the random customers, and he actually pled guilty for this.
It was right to say you should never have kids. Your father was
See, look at that. He's an asshole, and I hate his face, and he's remarkably punchable. Like, just imagine a fucking baseball bat just right upside his head. How good does that make you? How good of a start to your week is that? Right? Exactly. So this sucks, and this is a shitty thing to do, and he's an asshole. And also, he's a professional streamer. This is your content. This is your talent level. This is how good you are as a live broadcaster. You dump ramen on a table. 2-year-olds have better content than that. They smear chocolate all over their face. It's cute. Well, I guess if he smeared chocolate all over his face, you wouldn't really be able to. Look, the point is, it's beneath him, or at least it should be. So it's shitty and it's awful that he's doing this, but the fact, like, it's worth it to know that he's going to do maximum 5 years in a Korean jail for doing this. And I want to bring this over to the United States because all we get when people do shit like this in America is they want to bring out a mental health team and give the person help. Throw them in jail first. Then we can get them. We got all the time in the world to get them help later. This is literally like, if a person with Down syndrome did this, you'd still hold them accountable. But like, even a person with Down syndrome would never do something like this.
Call the police, stupid ass. I did not drink it, you stupid bitch. Fuck you.
Yeah, so pretty much all of these charges are pretty cut and dry, considering this moron actually filmed them all. So it's very...
All right, take it easy on people who film crimes, okay? Let's not just, hey, look. We got it, all right? He's a bad guy. He's a terrible person. But let's not turn this into, people filming crime. Maybe sometimes you didn't know that it was a crime. You thought it was a private... You didn't... Sometimes sometimes people step in shit at a weird time in their life, okay? Things are a little crazy, a little haywire. Maybe his therapy hadn't taken yet, and he wasn't, didn't become, the caterpillar hadn't turned into a butterfly, was still in the larval stage. And we're talking about him. Never mind. Fuck him. He's an asshole.
Hard to argue that, hey, I actually didn't do that, guys. That was a clear disrespect.
I was waiting for it. Gray Duckling with $5 says, all we get here are $50 fines in the U.S. But I don't want to be like Johnny Somali. Have I mentioned that it was a really dumb thing to do and I'm very, very sorry?
Disruption of business. He was being an absolute menace, harassing the customers, playing loud music, yelling slurs at people. Then we have the second charge. This was on the rotting fish harassment, and he pled guilty to that as well.
I'm cooking Korean barbecue. Put the fish down like it's a weapon. They're saying put the fish down like it's a weapon.
I mean, it kind of is like a stinky old fit, like people, like harassment is you're doing something to someone who's not doing anything to you and they don't want you to do it. Nobody wants a stinky fish thrown at them. And no, that is not a metaphor for a bad night at the club. Nobody wants a stinky fish thrown at their head. That is the literal definition of harassment. I agree with Diablo Sandwich with $2. We need to import the concept of shame from Asia. It'd be so great, right? Like, I look at all these Johnny Somali charges. And I saw someone commenting on this video, actually. It was like, God, aren't they a little harsh over there? No, we're too lenient over here. Our system sucks. I mean, Every time I get into like, we're too lenient, our system sucks, the comments just become, all right, what should your punishment have been? Shut up.
What do they want? Shot the police to pull up me for having a fish. Oh, put the fish down for what? How is this a crime?
God, how great it would have been if they shot him. Like if they just like, I wish I could like, if I had a time machine, you know, everyone does the time machine bit, like they'd go kill Hitler or they'd do this or they'd do that. If I had a time machine, what I'm doing is I'm going back to when Johnny Somali had that fish and I'm convincing the police it's a gun. I'm just telling him, he's black, he's got a gun. And then just be like that would be, and I, by the way, I only have one time machine. I can go there and come back and that's it. I would be very happy if that's if that's the way I chose to use it, is convincing the Korean police that Johnny Somali was indeed holding a gun and not a fish. That would be my trip. Redbird with $5 says, yep, what kind of moron films crimes while they have a vengeful ex? Well, I had 2 vengeful exes. I had 2. If you watch that Chad Zumach clip, I had a guy and a girl. And the guy says that I had sex with him against his will. So there's a lot of crazy shit going on there. I did like, I think back to that time and I'm like, all right, even if like it was like the picture doesn't exist, it was 2 guys, it was Gino and I and the whole deal. And like, there's many legal people who have even said this isn't a thing. Like I still did a shitty thing and yeah, it got way overblown, but also you got to remember, like, don't have any sympathy for me because like I handed 2 people who wanted to blow my head off. And those 2 people weren't even the victim of the crime. I handed 2 people who wanted me dead a gun. I handed them a gun and they got to take their shot at me. Like, yeah, they were bleeding out and their public image was completely shot to shit and they were just leaking all over the stadium floor. But they winged me. They got to wing me one time because I handed them a gun with a bullet designed for my arm in it. It was a really, some would say that a year ago, it was a really dumb thing to do. And I would agree.
What I do? Put it down.
Yeah, so that was one of the minor crimes there, the penalty being a fine or 30 days here. And we'll get to the more severe ones later. Then we have Minor Crimes Act count 2, disturbing the bus or the metro system. And he pleaded guilty again.
I like that. Like, look at these things that he's getting arrested for. It's like, these are all things that we would just, like in America, we'd go, all right, break it up. Everybody get out of here. Go, leave, bye. And there's no consequences. But in Korea, they're like, you know, if we hate you enough, we'll put you in jail for a month for this. I mean, in America, we put you in jail for 30 days for your first cocaine offense. Even if you drug your kids, doesn't matter. 30 days is the max we'll give you. In Korea, you fuck around and throw dead fish at people. They'll give you 30 days. I like their system way better.
Oh my God.
Oh, he said, I have a bomb. Oh, so he's going on. Well, now, see, now in America, that would not be something to fuck around with. That's, you know, terroristic threats on mass transit. We might actually fuck you up for that one. You start saying, I have a bomb on a bus.
I know, sir. Sorry.
I love how we have this recap of how much of a fucking loser this guy actually is and how many chances he had to get out of his situation, right? Because a lot of these were just little minor crimes. He could have gotten away with a slap on the wrist, but he chose to commit a new crime every single month for about 7 months straight. And
like every time he went on stream, he's like, you know, he's like a black retarded Tom Green without any of the charm and humor. Like he'd go out just fucking with people who were just minding their own business. And every time he would go fuck with people, he'd commit some sort of harassment crime. Because he's not talented. He's not funny. He just turns on a phone and makes an ass of himself. And he's so used to getting away with whatever he wants in America. I mean, if you want to, like, if you ask me, this is why having this 2-tiered justice, or not justice, we don't, I mean, we have a 2-tiered justice system the other way, but like, the public perception that like when black people are acting up in public, we're kind of more passive and permissive towards it. I think because liberal white people are more racist, they think lower and they're like, well, that's just what they do. I I think that you're kind of seeing that consequence here because Johnny Somali's like, oh, and in the Western part of the world, I'm just some black Somali guy and I get to do whatever the fuck I want. People just think, they feel sorry for me or whatever. Then you go to South Korea where they're like, yeah, we haven't gotten the whole Asian guilt or white guilt thing over here. We're just going to throw your fucking ass in prison because we don't like your face.
That's what's led to this. Then we have the 4-charge obstruction of business, count 2, max penalty of 5
Love
years.
this.
And this was loud music on a bus.
Look at that. 5 years for loud music. So fucking around with a convenience store worker and playing loud music on a bus, 5 years. Meanwhile, you go on a bus in America, and I try not to ever, but like a park and ride somewhere. There's always some asshole who's got his fucking phone on speaker and he's yelling his conversation into the phone and somebody's yelling the conversation right back. How great would it be if someone playing loud shit on a bus just got him 5 years in jail? Again, do you know how many just pieces of shit we would get rid of before they do anything really bad? I love South Korea's justice system.
And he was like making monkey noises or something. He pled
Well, I mean, that's on brand.
guilty again.
112, 112. I got a police. Back up. What you doing? I'm touching my phone.
Anonymous sent $10.
Don't touch me. I call police 112.
Yeah, so he even got confronted by a bunch of people. So it's not like he didn't
He's been
know what he
he's
was
been
doing
punched in the
wrong.
head by Asians before. Like Asians have come up to him, punched him in the head. Those are my favorite.
Sort of a reaction and get it on his stream for the little bit of views and attention that it will get. Legal Mindset explains this a little bit further, that the crime was kind of like disrupting the service, right? Because everything needs to be punctual.
Making a bus late in Korea is very much per se automatic interference because you're messing up the entire system. By delaying the bus driver, by keeping him from doing his job, it messes up.
Bro, you understand, like, South Korea is like an autistic, punctual person's dream. This sounds like heaven to me. Like, hey, you know what's a crime punishable by 5 years? Making the bus late. Fuck yeah. That would be awesome. Here in America, it's just like, yeah, a bus is going to be late. That's just, I mean, you probably got a cool 15 minutes. In Korea, they're like, hey, you made us 5 minutes late. You go to the fucking police station. You're not going to work today. I like that. I like the kind of, I like the cut of South Korea's fascism. It's really, really good.
Every single bus and makes everybody late, makes everybody tardy. And Korea is very much a society that is punctual and on time. He did plead guilty to that.
God, I wish I found South Korean women more attractive. It would be the ideal place to go.
Decisively guilty to that.
Right, so another instance of him just being an all-around menace. I love how he talks so much shit on stream, like, oh, I'll never get arrested, I'll just get a slap on the wrist.
That's my favorite part of all this.
Meanwhile, in court, he's literally just put up his hands and surrendered, pled guilty to most of the charges.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts about the Johnny Somali thing is he's a pro wrestling heel through and through. And like people are like, dude, you got to quit fucking around over there. You gotta stop. These people, they're going to fuck you. They're going to arrest you. And you're going to be in big trouble. He's like, nah, fuck that. I can do whatever you want. You'll fucking twerk on a statue of some fisherman. And they'll be like, they don't fuck around over there, dude. You're going to get in trouble. Man, fuck these people, man. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not from here. And then they just bitch slap his ass and bring him to court. And he's like, they ain't going to do shit. They just trying to scare me. And then when he gets in there, they're like, yeah, we're not fucking around. What do you think? He's like, I did it. I'm guilty. Like how quickly this little shitbag was humbled. I love that. And now that he's guilty and now that he's awaiting sentencing and all this other stuff, you can watch his streams where he's melting down and you're like, this is great. This is awesome. I love this. Because he's not going to get away with anything. You're just slowly watching a guy fall apart and lose it. And he's a guy who he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it.
Now, the only thing that he did not plead guilty to was the deepfake crimes, right? The deepfake count 1 and 2. And the reason being they had a max penalty of 10.5 years each. And this was the Korean streamer's kiss and the bong bong situation.
The first one was for the Korean streamers kissing.
Okay, bong bong just sounds racist, but all right.
the male streamers, so that's streamers like Dalgoon, the one who punched him, the UDT SEAL, that's like a Navy SEAL, the Korean version, the underwater demolition team. There's a deep fake of him.
Navy SEAL.
There's a deep fake of J Company, Bang TV, Youngman, all the other Korean streamers. The second one is for Bong Bong. Now, there were multiple deep fakes created of Bong Bong as well, which puts it in the category of potential maximum punishment, 10.5 years. And he also pled not guilty for that as well.
Right.
So what the fuck is wrong with this? This just makes me mad at America. Like, they got deep fake crimes in South Korea. They're ready to go. And here in the United States, they're like, well, we don't really know what we're going to do about AI yet. Well, get on it. South Korea's just thrown people in jail for a decade for it. Cool, let's do that. Like, why do we even need to have a debate on this? There's somebody doing it right. Let's do what America does best. Find good ideas elsewhere and steal them. Italian food, Chinese food, steal it. Hey, man, should we try to make better food than they do? No, steal theirs and put sugar in it. That's the American way. So, like, well, we don't know what to do with AI. We're not sure. South Korea seems to be doing it right. Let's just steal theirs. Throw sugar on it, meaning another 2 years. We used to be a proper country.
So basically, the reason he pled not guilty is because of the max penalty of 10.5 years. He was deathly scared of going to prison that long. But the thing is, just because you pled not guilty doesn't mean it's not going to happen, because it's obviously not going to matter because the evidence is right there. He streamed it all, and he will be charged with a very high sentence here.
Yeah, what a dickbag to stream his shit. Loser.
Even the max. In fact, it's quite likely in this case, because if you didn't know, the Korean government was actually cracking down on these AI deepfakes before the whole Johnny Somali thing as well.
Like, look at it. He's the most kickable person alive. It's like they AI copy pasted a horse mouth onto his stupid asshole face. His close together eyes, his giant schnoz, and his goddamn Seabiscuit mouth. Like, there's never been a face more designed by AI to be hit with something heavy and make you happy. Nobody's ever deserved it. Like, you understand this Johnny Somali stuff restores my faith in the goodness of the universe. Like, this is huge. A guy this inherently shitty getting more than what he deserves, quite frankly. Like, he's getting worse treatment than what he actually deserves, which is good because it never works out that way.
They were pretty pissed off with this type of bullshit before, and Johnny Somali just came in, hit the bee's nest here. Now we move on to the 7 charges. This is the obstruction of business count 3 with a max penalty of 5 years, and this was about Lottie World. And if you didn't know, Lottie World or Lot World or whatever is a theme park in South Korea, right? And Johnny was there playing some like type stuff, maybe some TTS and stuff in front of the children at the theme park, right? And that is obviously disgusting and, disrupting the business and definitely harassing the children as well. And he seemingly pled guilty to this as well.
Johnny Somali was playing lewd messages around children, parents and children. He was playing.
Now, see, this is the first one where I've been disappointed in South Korea's legal system. The fact that they're not hanging people for this. I would have thought, like, you disrupt a 7-Eleven worker, they give you 5 years. You play lewd messages in front of children. I would have thought if we're going by the flow chart, South Korea would just hang you. But they don't. They give you the same 5 years. Give them the max on all of it, dude. Hey, Mikey with $2 says, gave you $2 on Rumble. Now $2 here, please. Oh, thank you very much, Mikey. I appreciate that. Redbird with $5 says, careful what you wish for. You would be breaking rock until you die of old age. Yeah, that's why I don't go to South Korea and fuck around. And also, my one experience that I've had was enough for me. I'm, no threat to society here. That's the God's honest truth. By the way, Rumble people, we will get to you in just a little bit.
Playing messages about wanting, sexual relations. He was playing those around children, and that caused them to, and noises that were sexual, etc., around children, and that caused him to have to shut down a ride. Shutting down a ride is classic obstruction of business, and therefore that was a shoe-in. It is one that he is 100% guilty of if they have to prove it in court. They block off the ride because they're waiting for the security.
Yeah.
Right?
God. I have autism. I have autism.
See this? Okay, This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You know, the Western way of like, oh, if you have autism. This is actually a great commentary on how we've fallen here in the West. He goes, I have autism. I have autism. You know, the reason he does that, while it's a joke to him, it's because here they'd let you skate on that. I have autism. Oh man, we can't. And in South Korea, they're like, I don't care if you're fucking retarded. You're going to jail. We don't give a shit. You don't behave that way. Do you have the ability? Do you have the cognitive abilities of a 3-year-old? Yeah. Well, then, sorry, you're going to jail. God damn, man, if we don't steal South Korea's justice, we could set all of this country's problems straight if we just copy paste South Korea's legal system here. We'd be so fine. Redbird with another $5 says he threatened the judge's mother if he wasn't released. The guy's perpetually magnetically attracted to fucking up, and it's great. It's awesome. Very rarely do you get to see a passion play work out in real time. And this Johnny Somali thing is like the bad guy getting his comeuppance over and over. It's like if Buford, Mad Dog Tannen in Back to the Future 3 just kept getting dumped in manure over and over and over again. In fact, that's the only thing that hasn't happened to Johnny Somali yet, is he gets dumped into a wagon full of shit. And I'm waiting.
Trying to claim he has autism as a defense, right? It's not. So he's running away. He's screaming, right?
You guys scare me. Please stop.
I don't know what the South Korean word is for the N-word, but you know that their legal system, when discussing this asshole, they've said it a million times, like, how are we going to teach this, you know, Kwailangu, or whatever the fuck the word is. What if that was actually it and I just said it live? Right? I'm like, I don't know what the fucking word is. Kwailangu. I just made a vaguely Asian sounding noise with my mouth, and they're like, Aaron, you actually fucking nailed it. Your brain is just hardwired to racism, and you know how to do these things. But like, you know that they're like, let's make an example out of this. And I'm sure there's a lot of racism in it, but it's also like he's earned it. And I love the idea that the South Korean government is very vengeful. I like that.
Chasing me.
They're telling him to turn off the stream. He doesn't do it.
It's for my safety. I have no proof I'm live streaming.
You have no proof I'm live streaming.
Right, guys, so let's do some quick maths here. We got 5 years plus another 5 years, 10 years, plus another 5, that's 15.
I think SP wants me to go to jail. She says, I think South Korea is the ideal place for you to go to. You definitely should book it, send a postcard. No! Do you understand I'd be facing probably 5 years right now? If I had lived the last couple of years. Actually, if I lived the last year and a half, 2 years in South Korea, what do you think the shit that's not crimes here that I've done, that would be crimes there, like just general degeneracy. You're looking at life.
15 plus 21 here, that's 36 years. And then we got, let's say 2 more months here. So we got 36 years and 2 months in total. I mean, what can I say? The world is healing. 36 years without Johnny Somali. Holy shit, we're going to turn.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this never happens. We never get this like euphoric moment of like total justice or even more justice than we even deserve. Because honestly, with what this guy's done, I don't know if he'd spend a day in jail in the United States. But he's going to go for at least 10 in South Korea. That's so good.
A utopia. Bro's gonna turn into a decrepit old man when he's out, and he'll finally realize that none of this shit was actually worth it. And the thing is, this is an insane level of sentence because like I don't even know if some like serious crimes get charged with this, like armed robbery or murder or
imagine that. Like, what's the punishment for murder or like actually hurting people in South Korea? If you get 5 years for fucking with a convenience store, like if you punch the convenience store, what is it, 15 years? Gotta be, right? What if their legal system is fucked up in the opposite way? Like if you do small crimes, they throw you in jail for like 5 years, but it's like, you know, you beat up somebody in a back alley and they're like, all right, 30 days to cool out. Like the violence isn't as bad.
of like, you know, heinous kinds. So yeah, it's clear he's going to be made an example of, and I'm glad that it's Johnny Somali.
Well, and that's something I've heard in listening to like Legal Mindset and others, is they say that the Korean government is hell bent on making an example out of these people because they're tired of streamers coming to Asian countries and fucking around, because these Western streamers think that these Asian countries are some backward, you know, fuckhead backwaters. And South Korea is like a very wealthy country. Like, they're a very advanced economy. And they don't want people coming around to their nation and making trouble. So, like, yeah, we're going to and everybody hates this guy, so nobody's going to be on his side. Nobody's going to fight for him. He's literally the perfect guy to make an example of.
Turns out Johnny also had a trial on May 16th, right? Very recently. And Legal Mindset describes what actually happened there.
There was a courtroom that was packed with members of the Somali conviction team. They were there beforehand. That is my team of people that I am helping out on this. Once again, I'm not a lone wolf on this. I have a massive team of people, thanks to the absolute disgust and hatred for Ramzi Khalid Ismail and what he stands for.
This is incredible. I love how the entire world can unite over the fact that everybody hates this piece of shit.
Yeah,
it's
right?
really beautiful. I feel like Johnny Somali is the solution to world peace.
Kind
just
of
united against this common enemy. Now, it turns out Johnny was late to court again. This guy can't even do the bare minimum. The bare minimum. This guy like insults judges on his stream as well.
The judge, the prosecutor, y'all can suck
This
my
is the part that you were talking about,
suck my
Redbird.
off. Causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my. I'll bring a fish.
Oh, no,
to your
yeah, no,
mother's
he'll let
Bro,
you know how
can't
he
even
feels
be
about
on
that.
time, bro. They're already pissed. They're not going to give you any sort of leniency, and you just make it worse for yourself.
The lawyer was looking for Ramzi today. His case was supposed to start at 10:40. He was late. He was 10 minutes late. The lawyer
Well, some people stay on brand no matter how much trouble they're in, I suppose.
had no idea where he was. Him and Hank showed up late. Hank was extremely mad. So the court was packed. Hank sat down. He was trying to intimidate other people in the audience. He was trying to act tough.
That's one of the best parts about this, is that at every turn, like a choose your own adventure book, at every point in the adventure where you're like, hey man, if you chill right now, this is as bad as it'll get, they decide to double down and act like a fucking asshole. Like every time they go, hey, we're really in it, Johnny. If you just take it easy and calm down and relax, this is as bad as it will get. And it's pretty bad already. And he's like, nah, turn on the camera, man. I'm a while out. And it's like, okay. And I don't want to stop him. If he wants to keep acting like a dipshit, man, mail this motherfucker dead fish. Let's go.
Look around, scowl at people, curse under his breath. He was absolutely crashing out from the moment he stepped in until afterwards, actually, when he really had a meltdown and may have even engaged in some criminal activity.
1990s Mike Tyson had better impulse control than this.
Right, so quick recap on Hank. Hank is basically this guy who is the only...
God, why is everybody in this Johnny Somali's orbit the most punchable person on earth? I love that I don't have to feel bad at all for any of these people. Like, there's not one person who's like, oh, that looks like a, sweet, sensitive boy who just got caught up with the wrong people and, poor guy. It's always just bad guys in wrestling who you can't wait to see kicked in the nuts.
Person actually willing to associate with Johnny Somali at this point. I don't really know what his deal is, why he's sacrificing everything for Johnny. Apparently, even his parents and grandparents all hate Johnny Somali, but for some
Dude, everybody alive hates Johnny Somali.
reason, Hank still feels the need to support him, to house him, to feed him. Apparently, he was like, when he found Johnny, he was like starving and shit, and he basically nursed him back to healthier, like his little sugar daddy there. So
like a broken-winged, retarded blackbird.
I think he's just another attention-hungry.
You think he chews up the food and baby birds it into Johnny's mouth? Maybe these two are like incredibly fucked up, and that's why they don't think any of this is bad.
Clout goblin or something, and he's like mama birding this Johnny Somali.
There we go.
I have sacrificed my finances. I've actually Johnny ran out of money because they refused Johnny to work. So I've been actually
refused him to work. He's been streaming all of his crimes. What do you mean refused him to work? What was he going to become, a busboy at a diner? He's been streaming dead fish, slapping around convenience store workers, playing lewd messages in front of children at a theme park. He's been given more opportunities to work than anybody. And he just keeps fucking up, which, great, continue on. Keep going.
Wonderful. He's been helping me a lot. He's been helping me with not only like legal fees and stuff like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's helped me pay for a lawyer and stuff like that, and he's a great friend. Like, honestly, I respect him.
To quote PPP then. Oh, buddy. I need a little triangle. Retard alert, retard alert, retard alert. Wow, this guy's he's fed me, he's clothed me, he's given me a place to live. Stop listing his faults.
For that. When I get out of here, a lot of it.
Spoiler alert, bro. You ain't getting out of there. You're going to be singing Man of Constant Sorrow on a chain gang, bitch.
I do owe to Hank. He's a real man.
Yeah. So, and not to mention that I sacrificed my time and space here, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well, shit, you might be dumber than he is then. What do you see in this asshole? You understand that if you hit him with a steel folding chair, we would all cheer you like Stone Cold Steve Austin. We would just be like, the Hank heel or the Hank face turn. There it is, buddy.
I actually fed him back to health.
Don't throw him through the barbershop window. Throw him through this window. Give him the Janetti out of the high rise.
Too. He was very unhealthy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm very skinny. Hank claims when I was living on my own in Korea, I was very skinny and gaunt, you know. Maybe my diet was not good, but Hank is definitely.
Ooh, are we allowed to call him a skinny, or is that no? Damn it! I always get my hopes up.
People now on the internet are saying I have like a gut and man boobs now because Hank has been feeding. I've been on the Hank diet, and Hank has been feeding.
Well, you got to look nice for the boys in South Korean jail. You know, they like tits.
So well.
Yeah.
It might be some sort of bizarre love story now that I think about it, but he's clearly mentally unwell.
We've gone from one charge back in December or November of 2024 to 7 charges. This is
all like he's getting a charge a month at this point, basically. So in 5 or 6 months, he's got 7 charges. Let him keep going. Give him as many phones as he needs. Give him as many streaming accounts as he needs. By the way, I just want to point out, a shitload of people during either the 2020 election or during COVID lost their channels for giving opinions that would today just be normal opinions. They were losing their channels for it. This cunt probably still has accounts.
insane.
Not Legal Mindset. I mean, Johnny Somali. Yeah, fucking Legal Mindset. Damn him and his sober, rational legal takes. Why does he still have a fucking shit? No, I mean Johnny Somali. Legal Mindset has been a saint during this whole thing.
Almost every single month, every single time, we are gaining new charges for him. At this rate, by August, we could see 10 plus charges against Johnny Somali that have accrued from his behavior over the past.
Tell him to go live. Convince him. Get some kind of like double agent in there that convinces him that the more he goes live, the better chance he has of getting his message out there, and it'll help his case.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny got another bunch of charges here because this guy cannot go a single month without committing another crime. And he's basically completely surrendered now, right? He might be pretending to fight back on stream or saying that, you know, or acting tough or whatever, but his actions
got nothing to lose.
Just show his real mentality, right? That he's pled guilty to a lot of the charges and he will be charged with the other stuff and the deepfakes almost certainly because it's on video. Classic.
Do we ever see Hank come onto the stream and feed him a sugar cube or a Macintosh apple flat out in his hand? Or does that
streamer filming all of their crimes? The only question now is when he's going to get out of prison. Does he want to get out of prison at age 50, at age 60, or basically never? It's really up to him at this point.
Never would be fine.
And honestly, I don't really feel any sort of sympathy towards him because during this entire time, he's had over a year now. He has not apologized at all. He's gone to several countries, done the exact same thing. He's refused to take accountability, and he kept doing more crimes over and over until...
I mean, fuck him. You don't have to feel, you ain't got to feel bad for Johnny Somali. I'm sure there's people out there that do, those poor unfortunates. But you ain't got to feel bad for Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali's fine. He's getting everything he needs. Don't worry. And hey, You're not going to have to worry about him missing meals. You're not going to have to worry about him getting a good night's sleep or a roof over his head. He'll be out of Hank's hair, which will be nice for Hank. Everybody's going to win. Johnny's going to be fed and taken care of. He's going to get laid. And he's going to be out of Hank's hair, and he won't be bothering anyone on the street. It'll be so nice. Mikey, thank you for the $2 over on Rumble. Let's continue on here. Veldrain with $1 says Michael Fay in 94 found out Singapore doesn't mess around. They caned his ass. Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting. We're going to get to this during the Tim Pool, Adam Conover conversation on today's show, which is, do you respect another country's laws when you go there, and should you be held above those rules just because you're not from there? And I say, absolutely not. You went, when in Rome, as they say, do as the Romans do. $1 from Buffalo Jockey. He says, Aaron's smile while they read off the names of Japanese streamers just looked racist. Wait, what? Did I? If I did, that was completely instinctual. Oh, no. I'm accidentally a piece of shit. Another $1 from Buffalo Jockey says, even Aaron is decent with to take out breaks and spread out his degeneracy over multiple decades, unlike this Johnny fella. Exactly. I'm just a good boy who's, I spread my degeneracy out over time. This Johnny Somali's doing a speed run to the clink. Christ almighty, man. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. We're all set on the Johnny Somali stuff for today. That's the big update. 30 some odd years. Great. MSO says, too bad that logic doesn't apply to this POS coming to this country. Well, to the piece. You don't mean him. You mean other people. Well, we're going to get into that during the Tim Pool, Adam Conover thing later in the show today, because I think this kind of, pertains to that. Is the people here on student visas, how much free speech do they get? Or are they still, you're not a citizen. You're just here by our good graces. You follow the rules. Problem is, can you go to another? Are there a lot of countries where you can go there while you're visiting and talk shit about their country? I don't know how many countries would let you do that. But is America supposed to be the exception to that? Annoyed Wawa Supervisor says, Tim Pool, that guy that can't kickflip? Well, we're going to watch the Adam Conover thing. It's hard to make me feel anything but contempt for Adam Conover. And honestly, even though I'm on Tim Pool's side on most of those issues, he's just so shitty. He's just so bad at it that I'm still there were a couple times when I watched that entire podcast where I'm just I'm getting really close to being on Adam Conover's side here because Tim Pool is so inauthentic. Tim Pool is just so trying to be a certain kind of guy. And don't get me wrong. I despise a Johnny Somali far more than a Tim Pool. Tim Pool's approach to shit and his sincerity, I call into question. Everything else though, he's just a guy who maybe gets a little too worked up over the news.